Hi, welcome to the 7th episode in the Restoring Aquina project. In this video, I did a lot of work on the exterior, trying to make sure that everything was watertight. I sealed the chain plates, the toe rail, or the deck hole joint, and a bunch of different deck hardware. The work in this video starts a few days ago, so enjoy. First I tried to get that trim bar off of the engine. No amount of the penetrating oil was getting it off, so I ended up heating it up, and then I hammered out the pin on the opposite side and then hammered it out from the opposite direction. There we are with it all cleaned up. I took some high grit sandpaper and oil and got this really nice and smooth. I was worried that the blowtorch would mess with the annealment of this spring, but it seems to, it's working all right. And it's a little bit deformed, but it's fine. And then when I was popping out that pin, I think it's called the collar pin, I'm not sure. It basically like disintegrated. Like I could barely find it once I popped it out. And then I went through just kind of like the various hardware we had downstairs. And I was able to find the exact one that I needed. So I put that in, and now it works flawlessly. Here we have it in action. You push that in, straighten that out, and then it slides out. Then I went over to the boat and got everything out of the lockers in the cockpit, and I started removing this like MDF board that like separated the lockers. And then I crawled down inside and got out the remaining things that were left down in the bottom. Then I got a bucket of Simple Green and gave it a quick clean out and a vacuum. I also mixed up a bucket of Simple Green and I put all my halyards in there. And I'm just going to soak them for a while and get all the mildew out. It's already starting to loosen them up and they're getting a lot better. And then this is the ensign post or flag post that goes off the back that I found deep down in the locker. So I cleaned that up with the Simple Green because it had a bunch of mold and stuff on it, so now it looks nice, and I was just using it kind of as like a stir to get stuff going. Took the mast step off and sealed up all those holes because I'm going to have to replace that. And then I took the old grab rails off and resealed those holes with the caulking, and I resealed just a bunch of different deck hardware that I knew were leaking. I took the caps off of the chain plates and sealed those back up and then put the covers back on. Then finally I put the caulking down along the deck hole joint and put in the piece of the toe rail. We also had this bin over at my house and we weren't really using it for a ton of stuff, so we brought it over here and we put in all of the fenders and some of the lines, the grill, the life sling, wind scoop, and just various things that I had on the boat because I'm trying to get the interior really, really clean, and this was just in my way, so I figured this would be a good place to keep it all. And I'm really happy with this fit up on the toe rail. It's really nice and flush to the deck. And I mean, it's a really nice joint there. It's perfectly up to it. It's just, they didn't align exactly, but nothing that I can't fix up. And then on the outside, so yeah, I was happy with that, and so tomorrow I'm gonna come over and put the bungs in and get that finished up. And here I am with a marine caulking running down the toe rail and sealing up that seam. Alright, so I spent today epoxying the checks on the port side toe rail, and then I ran a bead of caulking around the tow rail, on both sides of the tow rail, on both sides of the boat, to seal everything and seal the deck hole joint and make sure everything was watertight there. And now I brought over these cushions that I bought for the boat. These are the V-berth cushions. I bought them from a guy who had a Hunter 30, and because it was too difficult to find cushions that matched this boat exactly. But I took the measurements, and these were like close enough and it was a good enough deal where I was comfortable buying them. And so now I'm gonna fit these cushions and to see how far off I am and what kind of modifications I have to make. And we have the V-berth nice and clean. All the mildew on the sides and on the ceiling is all cleaned off, and it feels actually pretty comfortable. So I was really happy about that. Alright, I have them in there. Very good fit. They're like perfect up in the forward section. They're a little bit shorter, and it's just a different shaped cutout. So now I'm gonna have to figure out some way to support the piece that's gonna go across. All right, here's the port tow rail. I put all the bungs in, and then I epoxied all the checks like I did on the starboard side. And I just continued that epoxy work all the way down, made sure that everything was even and sealed up. And I didn't get to sand it today because I wanted to wait for the caulking to dry. But next time it is dry out, I'm gonna sand that down and get it all perfectly smooth for finish. Alright, that's gonna be it for this episode. In this video, I tried to do as much work as I could outside because I had a stretch of days that were like really, really nice out, and it was warm enough to do epoxy work and stuff like that. The next couple of days are gonna be pretty much rainy, so I took off all the interior woodwork and brought it home so that I'm gonna be occupied with restoring that when it's rainy out. So stay tuned for that in the next episode. Thanks for watching.